Hello, everybody, and welcome to WNBA Courtside. I'm Cyrus. I'm here with Nthabiseng and Lee, who is now Diana Taurasi, the GOAT. We know she's the GOAT. In fact, that's a great way to start this one. How are y'all doing?
Great.
Lovely.
You know, if there's one thing, let's start on a happy note for Lethabo here. I mean, we know that the GOAT is there. We've had the vote for the GOAT. Here's your lady. It's DT, Diana Taurasi, named the greatest of all time in the WNBA after the vote for the GOAT finished. Lee, your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't even know why it's a discussion, it's a debate anymore. It should have been, put to bed a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I guess the girls still wanted to argue. I'm fine. Listen, there are other great WNBA players. I'm not taking anything from anyone. Cheryl Swoops is amazing. So is Lisa Leslie. So is whoever you're going to mention. It's fun. That's lovely. That's great. But incroyable. Like, not comparable to nobody. Like, Diana Taurasi is just on a league of her own, I just think, for me. And with that said, I mean, now it's official. So, like, I'm not even going to argue with people no more.
That's basically
I won't even fight people anymore. Like, I won't even want to lay hands on you. It's fine. That's for facts now.
You're just going to show them this picture.
Facts. You're an anti-vaxxer. If you say that Diana Taurasi isn't GOAT.
Nah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, as you say, it's undisputable now. And this is also where these debates come and go because, you look at it and you say, well, who's the greatest? Is it this? Is it that? And now they've said, fans, you tell us. And the fans said, it's clearly DT, all-time scoring leader. It happens. So we're all good. And Nthabiseng, I'm assuming you agree with this. Or are you still trying to pick a fight?
No, nobody's trying to pick a fight. Nobody has ever really argued that Diana Taurasi is the GOAT. She stays being the GOAT. She will be the GOAT. Congratulations to her. And to Lee's point, there are a ton of other WNBA players who are great. But yeah, DT is DT, so there's that.
No,
We've seen what she's doing in the finals and in the playoffs, so there's that.
Nothing's broken.
Ankle.
Nothing's broken. She's still out there on that foot.
Here comes the conspiracy theory. She's maybe at 70-80%. Come on.
70 is not broken. 70 is like, okay, you tweaked it. Things aren't great. I get that. I mean, look, I think that she's clearly not at 100%. We can see that. And if she was, they'd probably be doing better. And perhaps that's a great way to start talking about this. We had game one. The Chicago Sky were impressive. The numbers speak for themselves there. You even see it in this picture. Peeps are focused. 91-77 is no joke. Now, Lethabo, I mean, it definitely went Chicago's way. You have some thoughts about that, and we'll get into that now. But I think that when you look at that performance from the Sky, they had to go to Phoenix, do something there. And I mean, if you're going to win a championship, you're going to win on the road, right? So tell us what your thoughts are from game one. Lee, have at it.
The WNBA is rigged.
Wow, Lee.
She went from these people are anti-vaxxers to I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid.
Wow, Lee. That's wild.
No, but
the refing frustrated the living daylights out of me. Anybody who followed me on Twitter can actually see chronologically what happens, in the game. I was like, yeah, it's going fine. Then the refs just started, oh my goodness. There were a lot of calls Diana Taurasi wasn't getting called. Fine, there's some fouls that she made, which were fair calls. But particularly, I'm going to take a pick. The technical foul is really where I was like, you see, this is some BS. Because you can see, because they said it was a technical foul because it was malintent. But you can literally see, first of all, the shield was in her space. So, number one, that should have been, it was her foul and her foul only. But then you can even see, like, her arms were just going back because she was going to land. She knew she was going to land. It was natural movement. And what do? They give her a technical when she already had 4 fouls. I was just like, and those fouls, and I know you're going to say, oh, well, the fouls aren't the reason why they got in the 20-point hole. But the fouls are the reason why they lose momentum. Because the problem is with Phoenix, they can lose momentum easily. And I always say, when they go through a drought, boy, do they go through a drought. So when they have energy, and that's why Sophie Cunningham is such an important player for them. when the moment they can start going, they need to keep that momentum going. Otherwise, if you stomp that out quickly, then they're done. And that's essentially what the reffing did for me.
I can understand that.
We can still say the same thing with Diana Taurasi, that when she fouls, she doesn't get the call. So it has to go.
But she got all those calls yesterday. All the calls. She paid for all the things.
Speaking of calls, I got a little surprise for y'all. It's this guy, WNBA Playoffs K. Kaunda Chama's managed to get onto the stream. How you doing, K?
I'm good, guys. Apologies for being late.
Yeah, well, you've just come in at the perfect time because Lee's gone on one. She said the WNBA is rigged because they've been trying to foul out Diana Taurasi. Now, Nthabiseng was making a point in terms of Diana Taurasi, sometimes not even getting calls against her, but I want to bring up Exhibit A. And I think this is a pretty clear exhibit of one of the things that you'll see in this game. That looks like a foul to me, Lee. But, you know, who are we to judge what the refs do?
But you can see she was clearly getting targeted, bro. Because she had She had 3 personals by the time it was like only the second quarter. Come on.
There were a lot of ticky-tack fouls called against her, and I think that was definitely a momentum killer for her in particular, but also for the Phoenix
for
Mercury.
The whole team.
Yeah, for the Mercury, but this is also where you have to start looking at some of the other players on that team. And I mean, none other than this particular player has to have some mention, because I don't think Skylar Diggins-Smith was anywhere close to as effective as they needed her to be in the game. And I think that what the Mercury found was that it's tough when your A1 player, DT, is struggling with foul trouble and you need to rely on other players to come forward. Your bench is shortened because, of injury, Kia Nurse being out, amongst others. Nthabiseng, I'm going to ask you this, right? Because I think this is also where I know you're a bit of a Skylar fan. Do you think she performed at the level she should have? Or do you think this was just a bad game? And perhaps, and I'll ask Kaunda this afterwards, perhaps this is also just a case of short turnaround time was problematic.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it was just a bad game with Skylar. Because I like her so much, I critique her also. I think she had a terrible game. And I think, when we look at the past games that she's been effective, when she's on, that girl is on. And I just think it was just a bad game. And I think we'll have a better game today, because today's when they're gonna play again.
They'll play tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Well, and then on the African continent, it will be early Thursday morning. Although it's tough to say she had a bad game. She had 15 points. She was 5 of 9 from the field. 2 of 3 from 3-point range, but that 15 points, she was one of only 3 Phoenix players to score in double digits. Now, Kaunda, is this the short turnaround? Is this one of those things that perhaps the Mercury didn't have enough time to adjust to the opponent that they were going to face?
Yeah. First thing, guys, I actually felt the short turnaround did play a role in this. To side with Lee, I was actually quite surprised that they let Diana Taurasi get into foul trouble so early. So early. I was traveling a lot where I came from. There were troubles all over the place. That's why trouble is on. She got into foul trouble so early. I was even shocked. I'm like, 3 personals? What's going on here? But I think, look. No, let's not go with the R word, but if you're fouling people, you're fouling people. Sometimes you get caught, but it also, the short turnaround, I think, played a role, because, guys, let's face it, Taurasi has been on fire. Skylar can turn it up. Cunningham can turn it up, and when that girl Brittany Griner turns it up in the next game, tell me who can stop her. The Chicago Sky can throw CP3 at her, Stephanie Dawson. It won't work. This woman right here.
The double teaming worked.
The double teaming always works against Brittany Griner. When you look at what Liz Cambage was doing, even when Stokes was on, and with double teamer with whoever is on the perimeter, or even with Asia. You just always have to have somebody out there who's ready to
The outlet.
The outlet.
But the thing is, once you double Brittany, you're giving an opportunity to one of those killers on the payroll they've got over there, and they've got shooters in Phoenix. You know, they got shooters out there. So I don't know.
Effective.
No, I don't think he's talking about Shea Petty.
Petty.
No, I don't think he's talking about Shea Petty. But you, I mean, and this is to Kaunda's point, because Diana Taurasi can take 3 pointers. Skylar can take 3 pointers.
When Skylar turns it on, Cunningham can turn it on. Like it can get ugly. I think the short turnaround thing played against them, and I think the telltale game is going to be the next game. That
Wait,
game was.
Kaunda, can I ask you a question though? So are we adding Sophie Cunningham to like silent assassins for Phoenix?
Yes.
Are we ready?
I wouldn't.
Look, wait a minute. You've seen her have her moments. I mean, she's not
in this.
Yeah, but I've also watched Phoenix. I know that usually Sophie will give you that one game. And it's
that's it.
But she only got that one game.
But she hasn't given you the one game in the finals yet. That's what I'm talking about. The day
that's a good
she's
point.
Gonna show up, the day she's gonna show up and you're doubling Brittany Griner, you're gonna see flames. I'm telling you.
For me, she's not a reliable game tactic. If she happens to go off, lovely, great. You as a coach cannot sit here and be like, I'm going to wait for Sophie Cunningham to go off, because when that doesn't happen,
but I think that's what Sandy. But Sandy Brandello's not doing that, and Kaunda's point really is
that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, do you know what Diana Taurasi has been doing from the perimeter? Come on, guys. We've been watching this game.
We know this.
So if you're doubling up, and you let Diana slip, because she's been scoring even contested shots. So let's not even say just because you're guarding Diana, she's not going to score. She's been drawing fouls. She's been oh my word, guys.
But I guess this is also the other thing though, and I think this is what's really intriguing about the debate, because I know Sophie Cunningham is not that lady who, she isn't necessarily known for that. But often if you're gonna double team players, especially somebody like Brittany Griner, you're gonna leave somebody open. And if there's gonna be somebody you're gonna leave open, chances are it's gonna be Sophie Cunningham or a Shea Petty, and you live and die by that. That's basically what the Chicago Sky will do. But we've also seen in these very playoffs that Sophie Cunningham showed that she can go off if she is left alone. And this is the difference. You're not necessarily going to rely on her to be your superstar. Far from it. She knows it. Everybody else knows it. But if you give a good player enough room, they could come out to kill you. And the reason I even bring that up is because of this. This is the good player I want to talk about. We've spoken a lot about what Phoenix have not been doing, but let's talk about what Chicago has been doing. And Kahleah Copper was immense in game one. 21 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. That is big game play. I've been a fan of Kahleah Copper for a couple of years.
Thank you so much. It's nice seeing all of you.
Just out here with your haterade. Look, and I'll start with Nthabiseng. But the thing for me here is when you look at that Chicago team, they've got so many good team players. It starts with Courtney Vandersloot. Sloot is the floor general for them. She makes things work. She makes that team tick. And then you go across to her wife, Ellie Quigley, and that lady was incredible in game one. She was putting up shots. She was moving the ball around. You could see the team tactics were carried on through her. She had a lot more game time than most of the other players. And Vandersloot didn't really play much towards the end of the game. I think she picked up a foot injury of sorts. But when you look at how that team works, Kahleah Copper has to be the scoring engine. She gets up there and grabbing rebounds. When you got the likes of Griner, Azare Stevens, Dolson, and you've still got then Kahleah Copper grabbing boards amongst those trees, you know how much she's doing. So Nthabiseng, how important is Kahleah Copper to the success of the Chicago Sky? And do you think the Mercury can stop her?
I think she adds an X factor, to be honest. She's peaked at the right moment. She's peaked at the postseasons where it is pretty important, especially where you are as the Chicago Sky. So if it's gonna be because when you look at Kahleah Copper, right, you can see that she's performing, But I don't think coaches are out there thinking, okay, we need to stop Kalia Copper, right? But then she ends up doing the things that you need her to do to make the team successful. And for me, she's the silent assassin, not Sophie, in my opinion, right? And I think if she's on, she's on. And I don't know how Phoenix will counter Kalia Copper's great games as they proceed.
They shouldn't have
with
DT defending her. It's a bad idea.
Yeah, that would be a terrible idea to have her Diana Taurasi defending her.
But they create those switches though. That's what Chicago's been doing.
They are, but I think Coach Wade is utilizing Kalia Copper well. That's why I'm saying she's a silent assassin. He's using her well in instances and places where people are not really checking for her, and she's just like, listen, I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna do what I need to do, and I'm gonna get the buckets that I need to get. She's been outstanding, honestly.
She has, and I mean, like, she's been cutting this team apart. Now, Lethabo, when you look at it, I mean, she might not be your favorite player in the WNBA. She plays with a lot of heart. She does a lot on the offensive end. She harries people on the defensive end. If she were on the Phoenix Mercury, wouldn't you enjoy having her there as a player? I mean,
she's not. So I have no comment. You're not going to get me to say anything nice about her on
moving right along. So Kaunda, Kalia Copper. That is unbelievable. That's the greatest no comment of all time. But I think the thing for me is that I look at somebody like Kalia Copper, and I think that the WNBA is full of players who have not been given their credit over the years. The likes of Shea Petty is one of those that come to mind. But Copper is one who's built her game off effort. When you watch her play, she's an all-effort player. And you can see she gets in her emotions. And so having like a veteran like Candace Parker behind her will really lift her game to the next level. Tell us about Copper and how important she is, but also how important CP3 is in how everything works for Chicago.
Cyrus, in another show that Lee was on, one of the guest presenters, pointed out CP3 as being a floor general who's also that, the point forward, and the way she just controls the ball, brings up the ball, and just her skills level. Cyrus, I miss her from the Sparks. I don't know why you want to get me in my emotions like this.
Well,
which begs the question that she was dying at the Sparks because she looked nothing like this in the last couple of years. So
it was a bad situation. It was a bad situation.
But I could see her talent because I'm a big fan. And Cyrus, she's such an important part. I think Lee said this. She was the missing part, the missing piece from the Chicago Sky, and a big part of why they've made it this deep. And they're now making a finals appearance. Kalia Copper, Cyrus, at the moment, I can't really find anything negative to say about her, apart from the fact that she doesn't play for the LA Sparks. If she did, I'd be very happy because that effort that
this section has gone on for too long.
The energy, Cyrus, she goes in. I can say that, and I love players like that because they put talent and then they add that grit and grind. She plays like she has to try, but actually she's very skilled, if you know what I mean.
Very skilled. And I'm going to carry on for another 25 minutes while we talk about Kalia Copper, just to rub it in.
I'm going to leave.
I think before we do anything, let's go and talk about this in particular. We've got Game 2 coming up. We mentioned that it's on Wednesday. Early hours of Thursday morning for us here in Africa. Nthabiseng, what do you think is going to happen in Game 2? Do you think that we're going to see a repeat of what happened in Game 1? Perhaps maybe not the blowout that it turned out to be? Or do you think Phoenix finally says, this is our home court, we got to do what's right by us? What are your thoughts?
I think Phoenix has to win this game because they're going to start traveling to Chicago. And when you get to Chicago and you find Candace Parker on home turf, it's going to be something else. So I think Phoenix is going to come out and want to win this. And I think Diana Taurasi, with the experience that she has and the type of player that she is, I highly doubt she's going to come into the game allowing the Sky to win this kind of game. I think this is Phoenix game to take. Now, when it comes to the whole thing, the Sky is looking pretty nice, but we know that you've got the GOATs on the other team. But I think this one is gonna be Phoenix. I think it has to be Phoenix. They have to come out.
It's Warriors versus Cavaliers all over again, really.
In 2016.
In 2016, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because
that's the narrative I'm running with.
Yeah, although in this case, if we're looking at seeding, then wouldn't the Mercury be the Warriors versus the Cavs on the one end? Yeah, exactly.
No, but if we're being honest, the Sky has more depth. The Sky has more, just generally working with more than Phoenix. Phoenix is like a bunch of injured. They're injured, guys. There's like two players right now.
They're injured now. Yeah, they're injured now. I mean, there's no question about it. And obviously, their best player is not at her best physically.
Exactly. So there's the underdogs, if we're being honest. A lot of people have Chicago winning it.
I mean, look, and I think that is a definite narrative point, because, you're looking at this team and you're saying, well, are the Sky really the team that can topple, the Phoenix Mercury, who, if everybody was fit, would probably be the favorites to take it. Lee, do you think Game 2 is going to go Phoenix's way?
I mean, I think they're going to, if they change the race, then yeah. We have different refs.
Look.
Seriously. They're going to watch film. I think it might be a BG game for her. I do think that once BG, once she figures out, okay, they're doubling me again, I can fight through the doubles. Because you saw her, even in the game towards the end, she was starting to get some shots up. She was the top scorer. Double team. Yeah, she can fight the double team. She just needs to, get her head screwed on right. Less carelessness as well. They were very careless with the ball. There's just a lot of turnovers. They're going to get that sorted. I think then Diana is also going to play with a little bit more composure if the referees behave. Because I think
Skylar needs to show up.
Skylar needs to show up. Because Super said it best. There's two versions of Diana if you took her off. There's the one that goes off, and then there's the one that's just like, yeah, that's not the one that's the next one.
This is not for me.
Yeah, that's the one who then is like yelling at refs, and then it's just not fun. And then it throws the whole team off. So I think we might get the angry Taras. He's like, I'm gonna drop 12 threes on you girls because you've wasted my time. Give me my ring.
Okay, nice. Kaunda?
No, I reckon this is a Phoenix game. I could see there was just something that wasn't clicking in game one.
It was a ref.
To fatigue. Nah, the officials are fine. The officials are fine. If you misbehave, you get penalized. That's what I think. Big shout out to Draymond Green, 2006. Look, I think DT is going to come guns blazing. I expected when she looked like she was getting a bit upset in game one, I thought, uh-oh. Now the Terminator is going to come out and, she's going to turn into that other Tarasi. But she was like, I'll give you one game. I need to do some rest. The baby needs me up at night and we're going to have some time, But I'll be back. Game 2, you're going to see something. You're going to see something. And I think Brittany Griner, like Lethabo rightfully said, you saw those mid-range floaters she was hitting towards the end of the game. I think now if they start off doubling from the jump, she can get those any day. I'm telling you, Brittany Griner is going to be a different Brittany Griner this time around. So is DT, and like Nthabiseng said, we need Skylar Diggins-Smith to show up, and I think she has to, because this is the finals. This is not the regular season. This is the finals, and I think this is Phoenix game. I give it to Phoenix.
So all three of you going Phoenix. I gotta be the outlier here.
Of course.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a lot closer game than game one, and I do think that Phoenix are gonna really push. I mean, their home court is gonna be important for them to at least get one game at home. But I have this sneaking feeling that the only thing that might change my move that's saying that Chicago will win game 2 is that I think Courtney Vandersloot, we haven't really heard anything about what happened with her foot and whether or not it's something that might be a bit of a niggling injury going into game 2. if they don't play Vandersloot as much as we'd expect her to play in a game like this, then I think Phoenix will have the rub of the green here. But I do think that this could be one of those games where Allie Quigley starts to get really hot from the perimeter and starts hitting a lot more threes than she did in game one. And who knows? Stephanie Dolson was really the turning point for the Chicago Sky in game one, and nobody's spoken about her at all. Azurá Stevens was fantastic. She did a really good job in trying to control what was happening with Brittany Griner, but I think Dolson could be the key here. And if she's hitting threes like she did in game one, you never know what's going to happen. Thank you, everybody, for your opinions. That's the end of this show. So make sure you're all watching. And I know Nthabiseng, you're going to be glued to your screen. Diana Taurasi's daughter over there, Lethabo, and of course, WNBA Playoffs K. That guy doing what he does. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll carry on watching WNBA. This has been WNBA Courtside.